1 second, let me just make sure we're all set. It looks like we're good, guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is XFL week number 4 predictions, ladies and gentlemen. Weekly XFL pick show is back for another big week. I know last week, unfortunately, was really late. Unfortunately, it was really late, and I apologize. I had a game, but today, no restrictions, so I was able to get this video out as soon as I could. So with that being said, let's go over the XFL, some high points and some low points from week number 3. For week 3, you had a very good game between the Houston Roughnecks and the Tampa Bay Vipers. I thought the Vipers were going to get pretty blown out consistently, but they kept up pretty well with the Houston Roughnecks. The Roughnecks are still the best team in the league. They won a very close game, 34-27. Renegades, still looking like a strong team. They had a rough week 1. Rebounding twice in 2 consecutive wins, both on the road against the Wildcats and against the Dragons. Very strong win. But the strongest team in the 2 strongest teams were Sunday games. The St. Louis Battlehawks completely dominated the Guardians 29-9, and the Wildcats destroyed the DC Defenders 39-9. So, yeah, completely, absolutely destroyed. Jordan Tomley looked good. Philip Walker. PJ Walker still looks like a monster. He's probably the best quarterback right now. Cam Phil is one of the best wide receivers. This looks like it's going to be a humongous, really good team, and they're going to be hard to stop. And they got a big game this coming week. The Guardians look like the worst team. If you want to guys know my power rankings, official power rankings for them, I'll go ahead and give you my guys' rankings. So, first off, Houston Roughnecks 3-0. Enough said. Best team in the league right now. They have not lost. Followed by St. Louis. The Battlehawks looked extremely good. Not only did they beat the Dallas Renegades, so they're ahead of them, but they've looked extremely good at home. They almost sold out that dome they're in, and it looks like that St. Louis is going to have a great environment in St. Louis, and the football's back there, and they love it there. This team looks very strong, both on offense and defense. They only lost to 4 points to the Houston Roughnecks. This is a very strong team. Dallas in third. The only reason why they're behind is they lost to St. Louis week 1. Dallas is still a very strong offense, one of the better offenses in the league. Landry Jones looking competent, even though they do have a lot of turnovers. That's one thing that'll kill them. But still, 2-1. DC Defenders took the biggest tumble. They were probably one of the top teams. Getting blown out by the Los Angeles Wildcats in week number 3 killed them. So they're 4th place. The LA Wildcats go from 0-2 to 1-2. Huge win over the DC Defenders. Goes right up to the 5th automatically. The Seattle Dragons have not looked that strong. They do have a good home presence with attendance and everything, but they're competitive, but they're not a high scoring team at all. They really cannot. They barely put any points on the board. They only put up 12, 15, and week 1. What did they put up week 1? Oh, yeah, they only put up 19. So this is a very low-scoring team, and they're just not that consistent on offense. They're a very weak-scoring team, and that's one of the problems with them. Other than the Guardians, it's the lowest-scoring team in the league, which we'll get to in a second. Then Tampa Bay Vipers, they looked like they were the worst team in the league 2 weeks in a row. They barely lost to the Dragons, and they got blown out by the Guardians. But I have them here because they almost beat Houston in a great environment. I definitely think they can rebound. They have a good chance this week of upsetting the DC Defenders, which we'll get to. And finally, the Guardians. They're a complete mess. Their offense is atrocious. And the only reason why they had a good week 1 is the Tampa Bay had too many turnovers. Other than that, their defense isn't that bad, but their offense is atrocious, the worst in the league by far. So those are my week 3 power rankings. So let's get into each game. Starting off with the first game, which we have to my right-hand side, which is the LA Wildcats at the New York Guardians. This game is on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and this game is on – let's see what network it is. It is on ABC. So, yeah, we have ABC matchup, New York Guardians and the Wildcats. The Guardians are a 7-point underdog. Wildcats are 7-point favorite. And the over-under is 40. Who do I have in this matchup? I just like the momentum that LA Wildcats have been on. They completely destroyed the DC Defenders. They kept up pretty well with the Dallas Renegades for a little while, only lost by a few points. Wildcats have definitely been a competitive team, and I definitely think that the Guardians, their offense has been absolutely atrocious. Even though Luis Perez doesn't look that bad, at all. So we'll see how the Luis Perez does in New York Guardians, but I like the Wildcats here. I think this will probably be a low scoring matchup, but I think the Wildcats will get it done. I'm going to say 30 to 18, 30 to 9, 30 to 20. I'm going to say 30 to 20. Wildcats get the job done, but I could easily see the Guardians only scoring 10 points. So yeah, Wildcats I think will win pretty convincingly. Then the next game we have is the Seattle Dragons and the St. Louis Battlehawks. This is probably my lock for the week. And go ahead and pull up the stats. The Dragons, oh God. The Battlehawks are 12-point favorites at home against the Dragons. Yeah, this is my blowout of the week. I think that the Battlehawks are going to completely dominate the Dragons. This won't even be close. The Dragons really do not have a very consistent offense, and they're just their offense isn't that like as bad as New York's, but their offense is pretty bad. I say New York Guardians offense is 8th, while the Dragons is probably around 7th. The Tampa Bay with that last week one was up to 6th. So yeah, Battlehawks look like a very strong team. Jordan Ta'amu, Christine Michael all look like studs, and this is going to be a blowout. I say this is going to be a run-heavy game. They'll go for the run. They'll go get a big lead early, but I think they'll focus on running more in the second half. So give me the Battlehawks to win this game. I want to say 42 to 20. This game's going to be a blowout. This is my blowout of the week. Now we get into the game of the week, in my opinion. This is probably the biggest game. A lot of people's thinking this is going to be like one of those games where it's pretty much going to be one of the best games of the year, and I cannot disagree with them. The Houston Roughnecks and the Dallas Renegades. This game is in Dallas. Houston is only a 1-point favorite. This game has shootout written all over it. This is going to be one of those games where you don't know who's going to win. It's going to be this honestly is going to be tough. You have Landry Jones, one of the best passing – Landry Jones is one of the best passing quarterbacks. He does throw a lot of attempts. But resisting the Houston Roughnecks offense and how good it's been, scoring over 30 points a game, it is beyond insane. And I just don't see the Dallas Renegades having the offense to really compete against Houston's. Because the problem with Dallas is they are a turnover-heavy team. Landry Jones has been throwing lots of turnovers since he came back. He's thrown 4 interceptions. And Houston, they really make mistakes. They really do not make mistakes. So I got to give it to Houston here. Just the fact that Houston does not turn the ball over. They play well on offense, and they execute very well. So give me the Houston Roughnecks to win over the Dallas Renegades. I'm going to say 35 to 31, the best game of the week. And we have the last game of the week, Give me 1 second here while it loads. So yeah, let me pull up my stats there. All right. We have the DC Defenders and the Tampa Bay Vipers. This game is in Tampa Bay, and the DC Defenders are only favored by 1 point, just like the Houston Roughnecks. This is a game that could go realistically either way, but unlike the Houston-Dallas game, Tampa Bay's offense came to life last week, while DC's offense looked absolutely atrocious. They looked awful. 4 interceptions by Cardale Jones, just an ugly game on the road, and they got to go back on the road again, which is going to hurt them for sure. Goodness gracious. DC was bad last week, and they had to pull Cardale Jones, really couldn't do much. They only put up 9 points. against LA, who had one of the worst defenses up to that point. They really didn't play well on defense, especially in the first couple of weeks. But Tampa Bay's offense, the problem was the first couple. The problem is they also have a turnover problem, just like Dallas does. They have a turnover problem, but they improved slightly until that game-losing interception. But Tampa Bay is a team that can definitely put up points. They just couldn't execute the first 2 weeks. They could not execute to save their life. Last week, they definitely executed more, and I think that they could definitely turn things around, though. I definitely think they could turn things around, and I think that they could get the upset here. I actually am going to go with the upset pick of here. I'm going to go with the Vipers. Even though last week I picked them to lose against Houston, I thought it was going to blow out. They proved me wrong last week, and if they play like they did the first 2 weeks, I would have easily picked DC to win this game, but I'm picking Tampa Bay, honestly. I think DC is going to have another problem on the road. So with that being said, I have the Tampa Bay Vipers. I think this will be a decent scoring game, but I think that they're probably going to not score as much. I'm going to say 24-21. Give me the Vipers to get their first win of the season and finally break the teams that are the win this season. They're the only one winless left. I think that they're going to finally get their first win this week. So that is XFL week number 4 in a nutshell, guys. Let me know in your comments below what are your picks for XFL week 4. And with that being said, guys, see you guys later. Stay awesome. Have a great night. Let's go, Vipers, and have a good one, guys. Peace.